beautiful people. Welcome. If this is your first time here, welcome back. If you are a returning supporter, y'all know I'm doing some little last minute things as always. That's the that hasn't changed. Um, yeah, y'all. Let me see. I have to make sure I'm actually live. So yeah, I should make sure. That's the thing. That hasn't changed. Y'all can hear me. Okay. Um Welcome to Sunday Night Dinner and Convo. Nurturing Conversations is the title of this new podcast that I haven't been I have been working on. I haven't recorded a video in 2 months. Yesterday was the first time, or I haven't recorded a live. Yesterday was the first time. I'm super excited about today. This is all just a test, just to see if I'm ready to come back to doing this. One moment, please. I most definitely have to stay hydrated because let me give y'all my disclaimers. Number one, I do not tolerate disrespect in any way, shape, form, or fashion towards me or anyone that appears in the chat. Um, This is a judgment free zone. This is a safe space. So when you come here, there's no judgment. This is a community. Feel free to talk, ask questions, um, share your opinions. My opinions is my opinions. Your opinions are your opinions. We are adults, so we should be able to agree to disagree. Um, there may be some tears. I am not a mental health professional. I am not a doctor at all. My degree is actually in music, but I am here as one woman willing to share my personal one man, however you say it, willing to share my personal experiences to let you know that you are not alone and you can overcome anything that life throws at you. A quick recap. Today's topic is understanding the journey of healing. A quick recap. If you haven't seen my video, hold on. I should have had this already up, but don't worry. I'll have it up next time. If you haven't seen my video of where I've been for the last 2, 3 months, if you give me one moment, I'm gonna drop it in here. I forgot this doesn't act right, but I have a video that I'm gonna drop in shortly. Um, Back in March, actually, let me take you to the beginning of it all started. So, the end of February, I was experiencing what I believed, and this is why I wanted to have this conversation today, but I was experiencing what I believed to be bloating. Now, I must say, I have never been bloated in my life. So, why I thought I was bloated, I don't know. But I thought I was bloating. And so my stomach began to grow larger and I couldn't breathe and I was having trouble walking and I was just like, okay, bloated. I don't know how I literally kept saying to myself, I don't know how people walk around like this. If this is what bloating is, I didn't know what it was, but I literally kept saying that. And so then one day I was just at my brother's house and I fell down the stairs. I was going, that sounded all dramatic. I was walking down the stairs and no one told me that my niece could come down the stairs. So she started coming down the stairs uh, after me. And hold on. Where? Okay. My niece started coming down the stairs after me. And hold on. Oh no, I didn't want to do that. Sorry, y'all. Figuring it all out. Oh yeah, no, we don't want to do that. Okay. Where High Star. Okay, now let's see if that worked. And then we gonna show that. There you go. Oh, see, I'm figuring all this out. Okay. So she came down the stairs after me. Now I didn't fall down all the stairs. I only fell down 5 stairs. This is important to me. I felt like this is important to me. Um, I only fell down 5 stairs. And I was like, okay, if you fall down the stairs, she's like, okay, if I don't feel better, I'm gonna go to the emergency room. So can you hear me? Can you thumbs up if you can hear me? So that I fell down the stairs on a Tuesday. So by Friday, I was like in a lot of pain. I was in a lot of pain. And so I go to the urgent care. Now, if you know, my mom suffered a stroke in February. Um, so I've been spending a lot of time, taking care of her, make sure she's straight. So I call myself sneaking away. Um, and I go to the urgent care. They're like, hey, what did you hit? I was like, my back, my mid back and my buttocks on the stairs. And she was like, okay, I did a urine test. The urine test came back. They was like, go over to the emergency room. I'm at the emergency room. Like, okay. It's like, you need to get a CAT scan. Got a CAT scan. They were like, um, Miss White, you're hemorrhaging. And I'm like, what the? From falling down the stairs, she's like, yeah, you're bleeding internally and you have a mass growing on the inside of you. And so she started asking me questions. She was like, well, I know you said that you were bloating. So how long did you feel like you were bloating? I was like, shoot, since the end of January, beginning of February. And she's like, well, you're not bloating and a mass has been growing on the inside of you since then. And so I told her, like, I had heard a rip, I was picking up my nephew. He's pretty heavy. So I'm picking him up and I heard a rip and I thought it was like, oh, I'm diagnosing myself. I said at the beginning, I'm not a doctor. So I'm like, oh, I probably just pulled a muscle or something. She said the rip you heard was the mass pushing your insides, all of your organs and stuff. It was pushing it and it was coming through. And I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. And so I was like, okay, so it's time for me to go home. She's like, no. They wanted to rush me over to another hospital so that I could have an emergency surgery. And if you know me, if you've been watching me, I had an emergency surgery before. This time, it's a no. I'm gonna take some time. So I went home, talked to my family. Oh, I forgot to say, uh, in the testing that they did, there's this test, it's called a cancer antigen test. Again, I'm not a mental health or a doctor. I'm not a medical professional or anything. I just know the test that I took. So the test results usually are zero point 0.7 to 37.9 for cancer antigens, and mine's came back 275 plus. So then there was a thing like, okay, maybe this mass is cancerous. So long story short, kind of, March the 18th, I scheduled the surgery, talked to my family, you have to have the talk that you have with your family. Um, and I had to make sure that I tell them that I'm allergic to acetaminophen. And so they're like, okay, we're going to use two forms of anesthesia on me. So they had to stick the tube down my throat, um, which is causing me some complications. But they stuck the tube down my throat. They did the surgery. I came out of the surgery. I am okay. Um, and then the surgery was on March the 18th. I had to wait to March the 29th to determine for them to biopsy the mask and run all the tests on the mask and everything else that they took out of me. And they came back on the 29th. It said there was no cancer. Um, One of the things I'm going to talk about tonight is that waiting period and what I experienced in that waiting period. from choosing if I'm going to take the holistic approach or chemo. And oh, it was a lot. Anyways, so I did all of that. So the last 2 months I've been in recovery. And I wanted to talk about understanding the journey of healing because I've been on a journey of healing and self discovery for this is the second year now. And I kind of thought I had an idea of how it was going to go, but I would be the first to tell you that I don't know, did not. I don't think you could ever prepare for a journey of healing. Um, as humans, we like to control a lot of things in our life. So I unbeknownst to me, was trying to control the way that I walked the journey of healing. And so these last 2 months have been a great experience. I was going to say horrible, a horribly great experience. I had to stick myself 2 times a day um, with blood thinners to ensure that I didn't have blood clots. That was an experience in and of itself. If I got tattoos. People are like, you got tattoos, that shouldn't be a problem. Hey, I've never like stuck myself. So I had complete breakdowns every time I had to do it. Um, Not being able to like do the things that you once did, and then like trying to convince yourself that you could still do it knowing that you can't. Um, so there's a lot of things we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about boundaries. We're going to talk about using your voice. Um, I just wanted to give y'all a quick catch up to where I've been and what I've been doing. Um, so I kind of been contemplating on if I was going to do YouTube or live stream or any of those things. Now, I did miss it. I do miss it. But I've just been spending more time understanding the journey of healing. Um, when I first began this journey, I began like dealing with childhood traumas and things that I experienced in my childhood. And then it's like I literally walked from like birth all the way up until like now. And so um I talking with my families. I actually was in a different location. I was actually at my brother's house because I couldn't do stairs. And the fighter in me was like, I could do these stairs. It's nothing. So I've been home for like this is the second week I've been home. And I'm going to say this publicly. I probably should have waited, but I'm home now. So I be mindful when I go out and come in, which I don't do a lot because um yeah, so it's just learning how to live life. Mm, what's the word I want to put there? Um Catering to yourself. That this has been a difficult journey for me because I'm so used to taking care of everybody else. And now it's like you have to just sit down and take care of yourself. And for me, it's difficult, but I am learning how to do it. Um, oh, I gotta say this, right? So, when I came out of surgery, they kept saying, "Oh my God, you had a level one trauma surgery." I'm going to say that I believe that I was in shock or I was in a state of complete bliss where I didn't understand the severity of the surgery that I had and the complications and all of that. I real life, like I just felt so overwhelmed by love that I didn't have any when I tell you I didn't have any worries. I didn't have any worries. I didn't worry about what I was gonna eat, how I was gonna get washed up, I didn't have a worry at all. I felt completely loved. My community kept me lifted. They kept me laughing. My mother kept me full. But having a community is an important part of healing also. Um, like I said, they made sure that I was aware, I was focused. I'm so grateful to the nurses and the CNAs and everybody that took care of me while I was in the hospital because they made sure. They're like, we never seen anyone move around as fast as you after a level one trauma. And so I usually, before I go to any surgery or anything, any medicine, anything I have to take, I Google. I Google, want to see photos, I want to see everything, but I didn't do this, right? So after I had the surgery, I couldn't watch Grey's and anything that had surgery, blood, um, anything that had anything like that, I couldn't watch it. Like I would feel sick to my stomach. It was so weird. I'm slowly getting back into watching those things, but it was so weird. And then I went and looked up a level one trauma surgery, and I went and looked up the actual surgery that I had, which is weird because most people was like, "Hey, they didn't." So basically, I had a C-section, but not delivering a child, and they had to cut me from like the middle of my stomach all the way to the top of my that's just how big the mass was. And so I was sharing with my community the other day how I'm sorry, y'all, I'm gonna be pausing a lot because it's the realizations of these things are very, very emotional. Um, I was sharing with my family how blissful I was. I'm gonna say like I wasn't scared or nervous or anything. And then like the 8 weeks, they say, "Hey, you're not gonna be able to do this for 8 weeks." The 8 weeks had come. I'm in like week 10 now, and I'm still not able to do the things that I was once doing. And so I was telling my family how like the bounce back queen can't bounce back from this one. Or I'm bouncing back, just not at the rate that I would normally bounce back. And so I just started thinking like I just like, hey, I think this is my season of just rest. Like people like this is my turn up. This is my get the money. This is just my season of rest. And when I say rest, I mean like I real life cannot do anything. I be trying. I was trying to work out. I started crying because I couldn't. Um, I try to do like rearrange my house, cried because I couldn't. And I'm like, I had to have a stern conversation with myself. A stern conversation with myself. And I had to say, while you want to do the things that you used to do, the whole purpose of a journey of healing and self discovery is to let go of the things that you used to do. Um, I've been just looking at my life like even in this past even in the entire span of the global fucking pandemic, I've overcome so much shit where it's like, I said I wasn't gonna curse, but hey, it is what it is. I should have said there will be curse words. That's my disclaimer. But I've overcome so much, and in my because I'm so used to like, you know, y- you be used to like moving and shaking. And now I can't move and shake, and I have to deal with the reality like, hey, um, I had a complete hysterectomy because of the surgery or as a result of the surgery with the mass and its placement and all of that. And so um, they're like, it's going to take a little minute um, before you get back to your regular self. And then they gave me a time period, and I was like, okay, the time period, I'm going to be good. And now it's like, um, that's my body's like, "Hey, that's not gonna work for you. You're gonna have to figure something else out." So, um, I've been sitting and chilling, and then I notice, like, um, my voice goes in and out, and it does this weird little thing, and then, before you go into surgery, they have you sign all this stuff, and it's like, sometimes when they're pulling the tube out, they can knock a tooth out or hit your vocal cords and all this stuff, and I'm just like, "Holy." And so now I'm sitting here with, messed up vocal cords, but I go to the doctor on Tuesday or Thursday, one day this week to get that all figured out. But sorry, yeah, I went on a whole little tangent with where I've been. But what I want to talk to you about today is understanding the journey of healing. Like I said a few minutes ago, like, as adults, we feel like things should go our way. I'm not even gonna say adults, I'm gonna say as people. We feel like things should go our way. We should have what we want. I'm not saying that you can't or you shouldn't, but um, we want to heal the way that we want to heal. We don't want to cry. We don't want to be sad. Of course, if you're like me, you don't want to sit down and be still. You want to keep doing what you used to do. Um, and like I talk to artists. So like I was telling artists, like, hey, if the last 2 years you haven't adjusted your life, um, you kind of just been flying by the seat of your pants. And then when I had that stern conversation with myself, I said, you've been flying by the seat of your pants. And it's time for you to really take care of yourself. I don't have any kids. I'm not married. I'm not in a relationship. So there's no reason why I can't fully focus on myself. And then I began the journey of, hi, Tasha. Then I began the journey of um, self evaluation. I think that's the word I'm gonna put right there. I'm not making this up. That is a real word. But I began a journey of self evaluation, and I began to spend more time with myself, like understanding what I like, what I don't like, understanding um, emotions, like feeling them. I've been crying. If y'all have been following me, y'all know I was crying. I cried so much during this global pandemic. And before I kind of felt a certain way, like, people be like, never let them see you cry or never let them see you sweat. And um, for me, it was like, fuck that. I want you to see me cry so you'll know that I'm human. You'll know, like, I'm not. I said a couple of months ago, hi. I said a couple of months ago that I was going to denounce the strong black woman. I'm a strong black woman. Now I am a woman who is strong, but I'm not fat. I cry, I get angry, I get upset, I get happy. I have emotions. I feel like life has um thrown us curves where we shut our emotions off or we believe that we do. Um and for a long period of time in my life I shut those emotions off. I became a robot. I got disappointed. And I just kept moving. I got hurt. I just kept moving. People let me down. I just kept moving. And like, in this whole experience, I've been able to see like, um, I actually said, I was like, I spent so much of my life taking care of everybody else that I never allowed anyone the opportunity to take care of me. I said in the beginning there's going to be tears. Okay. I never allowed anyone the opportunity to take care of me. So, when all of this happened, like for my brother letting me stay at his house, like I would never like because I was such a strong black woman. I got it. I could do it on my own. I would have never stayed at his house. Um, my mother cooked. When I tell you, I'm surprised that I'm not a lot of pounds because my mother cooked breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like when I tell you breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I'm telling you like every day, 3 times a day, I ate. And I was like, you know what? I'm actually losing more weight eating 3 times a day than I was with juicing. So there's something there. I'm figuring that out. And from all of the people just calling and text, many of you calling and texting and messaging me on other social platforms, just like keeping my spirits lifted. And people was like, hey, I don't want to bother you. And I'm like, no, it's actually pretty cool because I'm usually the one that likes text people, good morning, grand rising, how you doing, how's your day going? And then to see other people texting me and checking in on me was, it meant a lot. It meant a lot to me. And I can say throughout this entire journey, I have felt, I still feel, I've been allowing people to love on me, not in that kind of way, but allowing people to love on me. Like if I needed something, like if I can't, go up and down the stairs or go to the grocery store and do all of that. So people text me and be like, hey, do you need anything? Our first response is like, nah, I'm good, when you know that you need some tissue or paper towel or something. So I'll be like, yeah, I need a pineapple. I need some ginger. I need some tacos. Oh, I've been wanting tacos for forever. Jersey Mike's. These are things that I wanted before I had surgery. And I couldn't get them because, there's a lot of going on in my life. And so I was telling people around me, like, hey, um, I really want to go to Jersey Mike's, or I really want to get this taco, like, authentic Mexican taco truck up the street. I really want to do that. And I just learned to not be so closed off. Like, I know that disappointment is all around us, but I learned to, like, I'm not going to say, nope. I learned to sit in that disappointment and understand why I felt disappointed, or understand like the connection between me and the disappointment. And then I just like understood it. I understood it and I was able to move through it. And then I realized, I'm going to tell y'all this is something huge that I realized, right? When I was growing up, I went to like black schools for like, I'll say 2 weeks of my life. And then from there, the rest of my life, I was spent in predominantly white schools. Right. And so, um, I would hear, people, you probably said it a couple of times too, or you talk white, you think you, like, I never thought that. Now, I do believe that I am very educated. I do believe that I am very talented. I do believe all of those things. But being in those environments causes you to, there's a word for it. I don't have the word right now, but maybe once I say it, you will have the word. You can put it in the chat. Um, It causes you to, uh, fake it till you make it. I think that's what it is. It caused me to be like, because I'm going to school with people who mama and daddy just give them thousands of dollars just because they woke up in the morning, and I'm just in there like, hey, but I know I'm smart. I'm not trying to like compete, but It causes me to like suppress me and like become something more, and so as I'm sitting here in the house, not really doing anything but working on stuff, I began to see how I wasn't using my voice in the capacity that I could have been. Um, and I began to look at different situations where I could have used my voice, or I could have screamed louder, or I could have talked louder. But instead, I just, sat back and let non confrontational, I sat back and just let whatever happen happen. And then um I started to realize, like, when you look at it, you see a couple of patterns. You see like, okay, anytime this kind of situation happens, there's this happens. And so I said to myself, I'm no longer going to live in that pattern of life. I'm no longer going to do that. I'm going to stand up um, and speak, and not just speak about random things, like speak about matters that are important to me, are close to my heart. And that's why you saw it was like Sunday night dinner and convo, and then it became nurturing conversations, because I felt like we don't talk about shit. We don't. We like to believe we do because we text and we post statuses and but we really don't. We really don't have honest conversations. But with nurturing conversations, we're going to have a bunch of those. Um, I began to figure out things that, you'd be like, I don't like that. And then you just be like, I don't like that, but you don't really go in depth with the why you don't like that. And I began to realize like a lot of things I don't like and why I would do the things that I don't like. And a lot of it was just because of things I was taught, things I saw, things that I thought was supposed to be done. And then and then the more I began to like dismantle um my foundation, it was like if y'all can't tell, I'm really trying to keep these tears in, but um it's like you ever like in the morning, like it's dark, you've been sleep, so it's dark, and then you got like a little corner, like a little light hit the bottom of your eye. It's like, okay, now I'm woke. It was like that for me. It was like I started to literally chip away at the darkness in my life. And the more I chipped away at the darkness in my life, um the more I became free, the more I understood life, the more I understood my relationship to life and what I'm like, my purpose. Um, I understood the importance of using your voice. So ironically that my voice is doing what it's doing right now, but and I understand the importance of sleep. I get tired. I definitely get tired. If you talk to me on the phone and I fall asleep, is no nothing towards you. I be tired. Things I used to do, like y'all see me work out before. I have like 200 plus workout videos on my channel. I can't work out like I used to, but I'm grateful because I know one day I'll have the stamina and the strength and the energy to do that again. Um, I know that it's important to set boundaries. That was something else I discovered on the journey of healing and self discovery. Um, a lot of times we talk to people just because we're used to talking to them, or we hang out with people just because we're used to hanging out with them. Um, and a lot of things I just had to be like, Why do you do that? Why do you talk to these people? What what is the purpose for doing that? Like out of real life, you probably think like I ask myself that all the time, but do you really ask yourself that question? Like if you know if you have someone in your life and you know like they are constantly they calling you, every time they call you, it's like, man, you don't got nothing positive to say, or you don't why do you still talk to them? I real life began to evaluate like, I survived a global fucking pandemic. I survived a level 1 trauma surgery. I survived a lot of shit. And I'm still I'm totally out of my comfort zone. I'll just say that I am completely out of my comfort zone. And it's scary. It was scary at first, but now that I'm out here, It is so liberating. Like, liberating is what I'm just gonna use that word. Being able to like just breathe. Like breathe with no like, man, I gotta pay a bill or man, I wonder what um just being able to be is an amazing thing that you discover on a journey of healing and self-discovery. Um when it comes to healing, I'm doing this literally and figuratively. My incision, like the bottom of it and the top of it are like completely healed, like you would have never know. That's why I said I've been telling people I'm wearing crop tops and yoga pants all summer. I don't even go outside. I don't even go down the stairs. But that's what I'm doing. But it's not healed. It's healing, but it's not healed. And I'm trying to rush it because I got things I want to do. And life is like, slow down. And I'm like, I don't got time to slow down. You having these conversations. And then I was just like, I laugh. I'm laughing every time I do it, I laugh because I was like, what are you doing? You don't got no I have nowhere to go. What are you doing? Why are you trying to be outside? There's monkeypox, 15,000 numbered of COVID. There's death. There's all kinds of stuff. What are you doing? And I just began to like sit. And the craziest thing, right? I seem to have more blessings when I'm down, like when I'm sick, than when I'm regular. When I'm, normal, healthy. And then, but I understood why those things came to me. Because, I'm telling you on a journey, when you start asking yourself, why do you do that? Why did you say those things? Or why did you put yourself in that position knowing the result of what it was going to be, right? So opportunities began to present themselves to me. And previously I would have took them opportunities with no thought or nothing because I have a goal that I'm trying to accomplish. But after asking myself the tough questions and after just saying, hey, you are not being true to yourself, opportunities came and I was just like, no, thank you. Thank you for considering me. However, and it's a it's a insert word here that you get when you're able to like you want this opportunity, but you're able to turn it down, but still know that you're gonna be good regardless. Um, But I know, like, those opportunities presented themselves because at one point, I would have just been like, "Hey, this is gonna help me get there." And now, because I'm being more truer to myself and the things, my values and beliefs, I'm like, I can't do that. I can't do that. I told myself this year I was gonna walk in integrity, right? Um, I'm not doing anything that's disrespectful to anyone. Now I'm gonna rep the fact that I'm gay and I'm gonna rep the fact that I am who I am. And if that offends you, I'm truly sorry, but that's just who I am. That's those are things that I can't change. Um, Definitely can't change being gay. But I'm just living my truth. I had to present uh something for my business. And I kept rewriting it. I kept rewriting it the whole time. Like somebody call you and you have something that you want to say to them, but then you start thinking about, man, I wonder how they're going to take this. I wonder if they're going to talk to me after this. Or you start thinking about all these different things. And so I had a presentation I had to do. And I say, you know what? In the spirit of being true to myself, I'm just going to say this. And I just said it. And so, of course, I'm waiting on the results of what I just said. But at the end of the day, it's like I'm about to be 42 years old, right? I didn't get to 41 by um, really paying attention to what other people said, because if I did, I would have never graduated high school. I would have never went to college. I would not be the person that I am today. I say I am my own, like, I am the reason why I am not where I saw myself being when I was younger. Only me. It's not you. It's not my mother, my father. It's not my siblings. It's not my ex. It's not it's none of that. The only person that I I am the only reason why. And I say that because the only person that could put me in the place where I need to go is me. And the only way I can get there is if I let go of the fear and the doubt and the worry. And how do you do that? By letting go of the shit that brought those things in the first place. I told y'all, um, I had a real serious thing when it came to rejection because my mother and my father rejected me. It wasn't like they were just like, "Oh no, we don't want you." It was like the love and affection that I thought that I should have received as the only girl. I didn't get it when I was younger. But as an adult, I was able to understand where my parents were at the time that I was conceived and what was going on in that time. So it helped me understand, like, they did not love me. They did not care for me. They just had lives and they were humans that did. And now it's like you would never even know that there was some issues or anything like that, because me and my mother, we straight be kicking it like all the time, kicking it. I'm telling you, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I didn't even eat breakfast or lunch. Sometimes I would eat like one meal a day, and that's because I have to remember every morning, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I'm not talking about like no waffles, or I'm talking about grits and sausages. I mean, it's it was such a moment for me because it's like when I was growing up, she cooked. Of course she cooked, but it wasn't like as much attention as it was. Um, I don't know, it's just all of it has just been different. Like looking at life not as somebody's wife or somebody's girlfriend or somebody's auntie or somebody's daughter, but just looking at life as me. I'm I'm looking at life like, you know what? If I don't want to get out of bed today, I don't have to. Some people might call me lazy. Some people might say, you need to get up and do something. I was talking to my mom and I was like, I don't know if y'all remember when I was growing up, we used to have to wash the walls and like the baseboards. If you don't know what a baseboard is, you probably never washed the wall. We had to wash the walls and the baseboard, and we would get up and we like always had to do something. We always had to be doing something. Like we couldn't just lay in a bed. And then I started to talk to like my great aunts and other my aunties, like other family members, and I began to understand why it was always we were always had to do something. And whether people want to believe it or not, um the teachings that were taught during like slave times are like passed down during the generations. Like you probably can look at your family and see some things that's been done for generations. Like not just, oh, my mama, like generations it has been done. And it's because it was a direct result of what happened during slavery. And it's like you always had to be busy. You couldn't just be sitting around. And for me, it was just like, that inspired me. That inspired me to start Ancestry. And I'm going to be sharing that journey with y'all on my channel. But um, understanding where I came from. Like, yeah, I know my mother and my father, but just like understanding where I came from, I was able to go back like 6 generations. Actually, my mother messaged me today and she was like, hey, she just found out that her father had passed. And that intrigued me because I was doing Ancestry and I put his name in there and he had a flower next to his name, but I don't have a relationship with him. I just knew him as my mother's father. And so when she said that, of course I went and started looking him up and found other people and got a whole family tree that I didn't have just 2 hours ago. And so I like got all this information and I'm gonna share with my mom later. But just to know, like, just to see her um have like closure or like when you think of healing, like you probably like, okay, I got an incision, there's a scar, or it's starting to heal, it's gonna leave a scar. They tell you like time heals all wounds, right? Um also think that they should tell you when they tell you that there will be scars. Like if you watch me or if you listen to me or if you know me, I always talk about therapy, right? Many people make fun of me because I be saying people should go to therapy. Or you a therapist now? No, it's not that. We need to learn how to understand what happened to us, um, process it, and how to move through it. Like I expressed to someone, I was like, I was molested in my life, right? I have a new series that's gonna come, and I'm gonna do it on like TikTok and YouTube Shorts. Um, it's shit I wish people would have said to me, and I feel like it's gonna help people because when you get molested, there's like no pamphlet. There's one now, but there wasn't a pamphlet of, hey, here's how you're going to feel about yourself, or here's how you're going to see life now because this has happened to you. Um, Therapy helped me understand that there will be triggers from smells to places, from words. Like there's triggers. Like those things will come and it teaches you how to deal with those things. Like I remember I would get ready to go out of town and I would have a severe panic attack. I didn't know it was a panic attack then. I thought I was having a heart attack. I thought I was dying. If you ever had a panic attack, you know what I'm saying. And I would tell my therapist what I experienced, and then I began to understand that the panic attack was a result of something that I thought about myself, something that wasn't true, but it was something that I thought about myself. Then I had a fear of flying. Then it was like it went from one thing, became a whole big old thing. Like now, when it comes to claustrophobia, I am only claustrophobic when it comes to like MRI machines. Like anything else, I could be in a small space, I'd be cool. But an MRI machine, scariest thing ever. But therapy taught me things that I could do in that situation. I told you I just had to have a CAT scan and they put me in a the thing. And she's like, "You're not even going all the way in here." So I was like, "You know what? Can you put something over my eyes and I'll be fine. Like I won't see myself going in there. I'll be fine." She put the towel over my eyes and I just, hummed a little melody and I went in and I came out. And I was cool because if like I've hopped out of CAT scans and MRIs. I done hopped out of them before. You're not supposed to because you're supposed to lay still. But therapy taught me how to approach situations. Therapy taught me how to approach the situation with my mother and father. Like sh- she basically said they're human beings too. I know they humans. You know your parents are humans. You know you're a human. But when you actually think about the fact that you are a human being, they had lives. Like my father was just like, "Hey, um, I just want to talk to you. This is how I felt." And I expressed everything that I felt. And then he told me, um, he had a daughter that died before me. Like I say, I'm the only child, only daughter. Kind of am, but he had a daughter before me. So I had a sister who died, and like no one talks to him about grief. Grief. Um, and I understood that. And it's mainly because I understand, especially, I'm not just highlighting the Black community, but especially not highlighting the Black community and say especially. Come on. Um, in the Black community, or in human beings, period, let's just say it like that. We feel like you're only supposed to mourn or grieve a person for a certain amount of time. Remember, I just said a few minutes ago? Just because time has passed, that memory of that situation or that person never leaves. It doesn't go anywhere. People be like, "Oh, unless you get dementia or Alzheimer's," it still doesn't go anywhere. They remember, or there's memories of it. It just comes at different times. I I began to think about all the situations in life that we have to grieve. And most times we think about grieving when someone passes, right? We don't think I have to grieve relationships or jobs. You used to waking up. People be y'all remember when people be like, "I worked at that job for 30, 40 years." Now I'd be like, "Girl, I got rid of that job yesterday. I got a new job today." But like grieving, actually sitting and crying or feeling the emotions or yelling or screaming or whatever it is that you have to do. And then you have those people that say, "Okay, if you grieve past 30 days or 2 months, or if you're on your fifth year of grieving, or then now it's depression." I'm not saying that it cannot become depression. I'm just saying that sometimes grief, everyone deals with it differently. My way of coping with grief is I just piled on work. Um I just stayed busy. When you're busy, you don't got time to think about stuff like that. So I was always busy until like now, and then life is just like, "No, you need to deal with that. You need to deal with that." And that's the same thing for when it comes to like healing. Like some people can heal from a relationship expeditiously, and some people it take them a minute. Some people can heal from being shot quickly, and some people, like I started to really like look into, okay, how long does it take after you have a level 1 trauma surgery or after you have a complete hysterectomy? How long does it take to heal? And I started seeing things like 1 year, forever, never, all of these different things. And I was just like, okay, this is a bad idea. But then I just thought to myself, like, I'm already meditating. I'm starting back up juicing. I'm doing the little workouts that I can do. I'm talking more. I'm using my words. Um, that's what's going to help me. That's what's going to help me make it through this, because it's definitely a journey. Um, I was sharing with someone, I said, y'all know there's a whole debate about, pro life, non, whatever that is. And I said to myself, before I had a complete hysterectomy, I said, I didn't realize how valuable that decision was until it was like taking away from me. And then, like, it's like everything I look at now, there's a baby, and the baby is so cute. And it's like, how come I wasn't seeing babies before all of this? Like, how come? And then the people around me is like, girl, if you want a baby, you can adopt or you could do this. And I'm just like, no, I don't really think that's what I want. I think it's just the thought of, I can't. Like, hi, Renee. I think the thought of like not even realizing um, that I won't be able to have them come from me unless there's like someone that could do an artificial womb or something. I don't know. But no, that was something that I had to deal with. And then the process of, if you or someone you love, to sound like an infomercial, if you or someone you love um had to experience cancer, or someone who has experience with cancer, I want to tell you this, right? Those people, they are some of the strongest people ever. This is how I knew when I was like, I knew I had got to that point of healing where it was like, I am so going to be okay. I knew this, or I knew. When they were like, yeah, so are you gonna do chemo? Or are you gonna, and I just look like, wait, what? She was like, yeah, so these are the things that we're gonna do. And like when I said I had to pick out, I just talked to my family. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to smoke. I'm going to Colorado. I'm going to smoke so much weed. I'm going to just be high. I don't even care. It doesn't even matter to me. And then, there's the family that was like, hey, no, you should get chemo. The friends is like, hey, you should get chemotherapy. And then, remember I told you I wasn't speaking. I wasn't using my words. I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Forget the fact that I already am struggling breathing. I can barely move around, right? You want me to put something in me that's going to make me weaker. I'm going to lose all my hair. I really didn't care about the hair because I didn't cut it off so many different times. But it was just like, you want me to do this so that I can stay around. And I'm not saying that most people do this for that reason. But for me, it was like, you want me to do this so I can be here for you. And then I began to think about how many people have chemo, or how many people go through the process of cancer and beat it, or some people don't beat it. And like they try to fight, and they fight for people. That has to be, my situation was only 12 days. And you're probably like, 12 days, girl, bye. No. You let somebody tell you that you have to decide if you're going to do chemotherapy, or I forgot the other process. They was like, hey, they have new there's a holistic approach. Like they had all these different things, and I literally had to choose like what I was going to do. Of course, I chose the I'm smoking for the rest of my life route, but to even have to decide that and then have to wait 12 days, like though, If y'all could imagine what I was going through in those 12 days. So it's like you you thought you were bloating, you're not bloating. You actually are hemorrhaging, you have a mass. Your cancer antigens are high, you need to have a surgery. You have a surgery, the mass is so large, it has pushed all of your internal organs over to another side, and everything that you could give birth with was all entangled up in there. And they probably could have untangled it, but I was just like, hey, I can't right now. I can't. It's a lot to process at one time. And then it's like you gotta wait 12 days. So y'all can imagine, I literally every other day I was calling, do y'all know that? I mean, come on, with all the advancements in technology, y'all should know. I literally, like, this is like no joke, Leo. I had to literally go to the cancer. I was in the cancer center. My appointments was in the cancer center. I'm walking past people that's going into chemotherapy. I'm I'm like I'm looking at all of this. I'm sitting here like, damn, that's gonna be me. And I'm telling people like, okay, the surgery, it's like 2 months. I don't have cancer, but now I'm in the process of dealing with those things. Like I'm in the process of dealing with you don't have cancer, but you have to select whichever. I go for my follow up to my regular doctor. He's like, "Oh, your incision. Wait a minute. Why did they have to cut you?" And then he's looking at it. He's like, "Oh, that makes sense why they had to cut you like that." And then he's like, doing all the follow-up stuff, and then I'm just like, and I keep hearing it's level 1 trauma, level 1 trauma, and I'm just sitting here like, "Okay, okay." But then the reality of all of that like, hit me, and thanks to therapy, I was able to, like, sit with it and process it and understand, like, I could have died. I could have died. I could have cancer. No, I don't. I didn't die, and no, I don't have cancer, but I still have to process those things. And the processing is there's like the fear, there's like the anxiety, there's like there's definitely a lot of that. Like and then you're like, hey, I don't have cancer. And then you go to your regular doctor and he's like, it's time for a mammogram. And you like your mom's being sick and you're looking like, man, um Cuzzo IB had posted something on her, she's a YouTuber. She had posted something a couple of weeks, a month or so ago. She was sitting in a truck with her mom and she like laughed and she's like, you changed my diapers and one day I'm gonna change your diaper. And like I laughed at first, and then the reality of that, like the reality of that like overwhelmed me, right? Because my mom has been sick and like taking care of her and making sure like she gets to her appointments and things like that. It's just like it's so crazy to think like one day you will be, if you're one of those loving kids that love their parents. I'm not saying if you put your parents in a nursing home you don't love them, because maybe you be busy, but you will have to take care of them. And I just started to think like, man, you probably I know I thought, like, I thought my parents are, like, gonna live forever, everybody. We all know, okay, we gonna die one day, but it's like, no, they're gonna live forever, like, I've seen my mom do shit, like, I know I couldn't do. Imma say that, I know I couldn't do, but I seen her do shit, and then to see her in a state where it's just like, she's not that strong anymore. She's still strong, she's still a black woman, but she's not like she's sick. And that was healing a part of me. Like, people was like, "How are you not bitter? How are you not angry?" And I don't think I've ever, like, allowed that to take place because I always know, like, I my grandmother said to me, she was like, um, "Always treat people how you wanna be treated." I know y'all like, "That's a commandment," but the way my grandmother put it to me, she was like, "Always treat people how you wanna be treated." Like, that was instilled in me since I was younger. So I always treat people. I don't care what the fuck people do to me, what they say to me. I'm going to always treat you with respect. I'm going to always treat you with love. I'm going to always make sure that's what I do. Integrity. That's who I am. That's what I do. When my mom got sick, I just began to look at things like, I just lost my dad, right? So then it's like my mom's like, how the fuck do I like start to have real relationships with them and like we're spending more time together. Now it's like they're sick. You know what I started to think about? You ever see the show Hoarders? I know you're probably like, this is a really bad analogy, but no, it's gonna make sense. Like I was holding on to the things like from my past. I was hoarding all of those feelings. I was hoarding the disappointments. I was hoarding all of those things. So the new things had no space to come in. But the more, I'm telling you, the more I cracked away at the darkness, the light came in and I was allowing more space to come in. And I was just like, we need to talk about this. We need to talk about what it's like to heal. Like someone in the chat can be like, it didn't take me that long. I did this, or this is how, like, we need to be able to share these stories, like, share our stories. Like, I remember, like, I was telling, I went to my aunt's house for, I think she just had a barbecue. It was like 2 days before Memorial Day, and I hadn't got out in a long time. So I went to my aunt's house, and there was a mother, a daughter, a granddaughter. So it's like 3 generations. And so I was talking to her and she was like, "You really talking to me?" Like, she was a grandmother. She's like, "You really talking to me?" I said, "The thing that I love about the older generation is like they hold so much history." So I'm talking to her, and she's telling me her story or whatever, her life, and so then her daughter comes in. So she's like, I only have one child. My daughter only has one child, but my granddaughter is on her second child. So then she told me like how she got to that point. And I'm just sitting here like, that is so amazing. Like I was saying, I don't know if y'all know, like back in the days, people would have like anywhere from 10 to 20 plus kids. I know we probably can't imagine that right now, but people will have that many kids. So people were growing up in families of like football teams, basketball teams, like soccer teams, like all of that, right? And I started to think like nowadays, it's not like that. We don't, whatever happened is, we don't have that anymore. Like, remember there used to be like, it takes a village to raise a family. Like, it became fuck the village. I wish the village would. And then now it's like, look at the state of the world. I'm not saying like we could have changed things, but we know that we could change some shit. And was listening to her and I was like, her situation, her situation is unique. It's unique in the fact that she had one child, and from the rest of her life, she's determined from having that one child, she would never go through that pain ever again. Her daughter experienced the same thing. I would never go through. I'm not putting it. That's what they told me. And then I asked the granddaughter, and she was like, when you find someone that you love and you want to, so she's talking about that. But then I just thought like how things are like passed down. Like families. Like when I was going to therapy, I saw that they were like group therapy, and it was like the group doesn't have to be your family. It would be good if it was your family, but it don't have to be your family. And I was like, you know what? I should get a couple of my friends and be like, let's go to group therapy. Like I really believe that everybody should like have therapy. Not to say that you're crazy or nothing like that, but just to teach you ways to heal. You can't heal from being molested if you never talked about it. I know you probably like, I don't want to talk about it because it was really traumatic. It's going to forever in your life be traumatic. Like the conversation that a parent has to have with their child as they're getting older. Because I know, like, if you are a parent who were molested, I know you've had to talk with your child or you've done taken the necessary steps to ensure that it doesn't happen to your child. I think the journey of healing is a lifelong. That's what I'm going to say. It's a lifelong process. Cuz even like though the bottom part of my incision is healed, it still hurts. I know it's only been like 2 months, but it still hurts. It's completely healed. Like you wouldn't even know that there's a scar there, of course. I see it. You probably if I showed it to you, you probably wouldn't see it. You'd be like, "Where is it?" It's there because I know it's there because it still hurts. Therapy doesn't make it magically disappear. No one makes it magically disappear. I know they say leave it at the altar and let God. No knock against Jesus, but he doesn't even make it disappear. Thank you, Trish. I was hoping that you popped in because yeah, that's what I learned from therapy. We look at it as okay, I'm out of this relationship. That didn't work. Some of us take what worked and what didn't work, and it's like, okay, we off to the next one. Me, on the other hand, I was just like, I'm tired. I'm tired of this little I'm tired of the merry-go-round, I really wanna be healed. Like I really wanna like live life freely. And then when I tell y'all like after this is over, I'm going to go have me some turtle ice cream and some chocolate chip turtle cookies, and I'm gonna go watch The Boys on Amazon. I would usually be so like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta create this, I gotta design this. I used to be on that hamster wheel, like just keep going, keep going, keep going. But now my it's no worries. Now my life is like I know what it's like to sit down and be still. I know what that is like. I'm not gonna tell y'all like that was the easiest shit ever because I struggled. When I tell y'all, I struggled. There's some days when I still struggle because I had a plan. I had a plan. I said June, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna be doing the workouts and I'm gonna be doing this. I'm gonna do that. And I was sharing with somebody. They was like, "Don't do too much." I was like, "Oh no, I'm not." So I'm gonna let you guys know. Hi, Alicia. I'm gonna let you guys know that I'm gonna do Saturday Night Vibes, this nurturing conversations, and I'm gonna do motivation Mondays. Um, those are gonna be the only times that I'm gonna be doing things. Of course, I'm gonna be doing stuff on TikToks, but I won't be really using my voice. Um, because I have to figure out what's going on with it. Um, but I was sitting here like it's so amazing how we live life and we get so caught up in everything that we're doing that we start to overlook ourselves. And the more I like sit, like I just sit and just look at my stomach and like look at the mile long. It's not a mile long. It seems like a mile long, but I look at the scar and I just look like, man, I deserve to like be happy and not happy because oh somebody bought me some turtle ice cream. Sorry, my sock was slipping off and that's so irritating. Um, but I to be happy, like just to wake up. Like I have a Tempur-Pedic bed with like 16 pillows on my bed. Um, Even though I can't lay the way I want to because of my stomach is still healing, I am comfortable in my Tempur-Pedic bed and I could smile every time I wake up. And there's literally a bird nest on the outside of my window. So the birds literally, I'm like Cinderella kind of. The birds wake me up every morning. I remember a time I never even noticed a bird. The birds wake me up. I see rabbits. I see ants. You're probably like, those be around all the time, but I was so busy. When I tell y'all, like, I was busy. What was I doing? Hell if I know. But I was busy doing nothing. Nothing. And now I find the joy in just being able to sit and watch TV. I find joy in just being able to take a shower. I couldn't take a shower. I can't wait to the day where I can take a bath. I know you're probably like, you can't take no bath. Well, given the current situation I got going on, it's not advised. I mean, I could do it and then there could be, anything could happen, but I'm not in the interest of testing that out. Funny because I used to test everything. Now it's a no. I told after, like, directly after I found out I didn't have cancer, um, I was laughing and joking. I was like, "Yeah, I'm at that point in my life that if anything else goes wrong with this body, I'm just going to smoke weed. I'm not gonna eat edibles. I'm just gonna smoke weed. That's the end of it. That's where I'm gonna be at. Where's Chelle at? They got this thing on TikTok. Where's Latrell? Where's Chelle at? She's outside smoking. This is what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna tell you, I am not doing anything other than that. And then this started to, go a little haywire. And I said, hmm, I tell you, boy, I haven't smoked yet. If you're wondering, no, I haven't smoked. I haven't smoked yet. Um, I've yet to smoke. I haven't smoked. But just thinking about alternative to what I know. Healing is like praying and giving it to God, but I'm still living in the same situation. For me, it was like changing my environment. When I the people I used to talk to, a lot of them, I don't talk to them anymore. No bad blood, no hard feelings. It's just I'm in a different space and time. I will always wish them the best and always want them to do well, but I'm just not there anymore. When you real life ask yourself the question, why do you talk to them? Why do you hang out to them? Why do you go there? Why are you going out to eat when you got a freezer full of food? Do y'all know that I went to Woodman's last night because I've been trying to get to the store for forever. And my brother came down from up north and he's like, I'm so tired. I don't want to take you. I was like, I'll drive. Should I have been driving? Probably not. But I needed to go to Woodman's. Did I really need to go to Woodman's? I did. Anyway, so I went to Woodman's and I'm getting like juice, because I'm starting back juicing again. Um, and I began to realize like food prices are ridiculous. Like ridiculous. Like I remember I could take $30 and go get enough fruit for like 3 weeks. 3 weeks. I went to the same store that I was going to, and got ready to get all the stuff, and I was like, that price say what? Say what now? Who? Were they like Jesus himself was just like, you know what? I'm put all this fruit in here, and we gonna put a price on it. It's enough for me. So I did get some fruits and vegetables. So I did do that. But then I'm talking to the Woodmans because I don't know if you know, but like that's what I'm saying, Alicia. Like, remember, you could get it for like $15. You could have chili and have chili for days. So they used to women's here used to be 24 hours. He said the guy's like they make more money when they're closed. How? He's like, well, he had the now this is I, I don't work at Women's, but he's like they already went up 10% since the start of the pandemic and they make more money when they close. And I was like, they used to be 24 hours, now they close at 11. Luckily, I was able to get in here, but then I just started to think like everything is high. If you rent is high. I don't own, but I can only imagine what ownership looks like because renting is like first, last security deposit, and you have to make 2 to 3 times as much as the rent. And if you live in Wisconsin, a lot of these places that trying to rent got It's 2022. How you still got a radiator in your house? Cabinets painted shut. Like I don't know. I'm grateful for my house, my home. I'm grateful for it. I've been here 7 years now. 7 years since I was homeless. I was thinking about that the other day. Like, I'm telling you, when you have nothing to do, you start thinking about all kinds of stuff. I was thinking about the fact that I was homeless and I was sad. I was, come homeless. The first thing you think about is, I've been paying my bills. I've been doing all of this, right? But once I stopped focusing on that and start focusing on the beauty of it, so I was telling my family, I was like, I really, for 43, next year, I'll be 43, right? And I was like, 43, I want to, so like now until 43, I want to get a Sprinter van and I just want to travel. That's what I want to do. Like, I want to see different places. Like I went to Seattle for the first time last year. I watch Grey's Anatomy all the time. Thought it was a fictional place, but I actually went to Seattle and saw, and I was just like, it was so beautiful. I really want to go on a cruise, but mm, I really want to go out of the country, but I gotta heal first. The old me, the old me wouldn't even care. I would have been on somebody's plane. But now it's like, no, they say with age comes wisdom. And I'm really starting to believe like, yeah, you use wisdom. Or I do. I hope that you do. But I'm starting to use wisdom. I'm starting to set boundaries and not even cross those boundaries for myself. Not even at all. And it's the greatest in the beginning now, let me tell you. In the beginning, it's gonna feel like really heartbreaking, especially if you never had to tell so many people no. It's gonna feel real heartbreaking. And I'm only crying because I'm just happy that I'm at this point right now. But it's gonna feel real heartbreaking. You're gonna feel like you're letting a lot of people down. You're not. That's just it's your body like finally they got it. You're always doing stuff for people and you don't get that in return. Finally, you got it. It's this life just trying to grow you, or what is it? It's trying to rid you of those things. Yes, that's what it is. Renee, send me a message on TikTok. Thank you for stopping by. Is that was the thing. I feel like life was just trying to get me to the point where I could use my words and say what I need to say and say no. I felt obligated to people. It's my brother, those my nieces and nephews, I'm gonna watch them. Or that's why I'm gonna do this because nah. Now it's like, do I wanna get out? Oh yeah, I got all of them. I can see them. Do I wanna get out of bed? Or do I just wanna sit here? My mom Me and my mom spent so much time watching, like, talking, doing ancestry, and watching, like, shows. Like, I kept saying, "I'm gonna watch The Shy. I'm gonna watch The Shy." I didn't watch it, and then she started watching it, and I was watching. She was on episode like 4 of season 1, and I was like, "No, I can't watch it with you." So I went back and I finished it, and I'm pretty happy I did because the new one is coming out. Somebody's like, "Hey, you gotta watch P Valley." Now, if you know my mom, she's a church lady, so I'm not gonna watch that with her, but we'll find another one to watch. But just watching shows. And let me tell you this, right? You're probably like, it's a show. I was paying for these streaming services for months, years, days, weeks, hours, and wasn't even watching them. I was just paying them just in the rare event that I was at home or had time and I'd watch something. Now I'm utilizing every minute, second, hour, marathon, all of that. And I just found out that on Twitch, I can watch shows on Amazon. So we can have a watch party on Twitch. So y'all know what's going to be coming, right? Watch parties. I said all that. I wrote a list down, a list of things that could help you as you journey, whatever journey you're on, healing, self discovery, self awareness, whatever journey you're on. So I'm going to give you my list. It's just 5 things, 5 quick things. It's number 1, get to know yourself and learn to appreciate your body. That's important to me because my body was like, we don't want to walk upstairs. And I was so determined, like, yeah, we're going to walk up these stairs because I'm going home. And my body was like, we don't want to walk up these stairs. And then I got to the top of the stairs and I was like, I probably should have listened to you. Get to know your body. It's not gonna lead you wrong. I learned about fright or flight. The body's ultimate goal is to protect you. Sometimes we put ourselves in situations, we be knowing that they are the wrong situations. Let's start listening. Let's start listening. Th- Thank you, Trish. And that is something that I learned too. Cause um I heard this about to be funny, but I heard Will and Jada talk about this a while ago, like um people looking for happiness outside of themselves, and I was just like, wait, what? And then going to therapy and spending time with myself, it was like we put too much stuff on other people. We expect people to make us happy. We expect people to make us whole. We expect people to make all of these different things, but it all starts right here. Everything. Thank you, Trish. Everything starts right here. Number 2, set boundaries that feel right to you. Set boundaries. If you don't want to talk, if you don't want to hear about what happened to so and so, set a boundary. If you don't want to go to the family function because Uncle Pete gonna be cooking on the barbecue grill and you remember what Uncle Pete, set boundaries that are right to you. I know sometimes we don't want to make that hard choice, but listen, you survived a global fucking pandemic, monkeypox, bird flu, Ebola. I don't know if y'all been paying attention, but all of these things are out there right now. You survived all of that. The last thing you should be worried about is what anybody else say. You should be happy. You should go to bed at night so enamored with yourself that you can't wait to wake up in the morning and look at yourself in the mirror. That's number 2. Set boundaries that feel right to you. Number 3, use your words. I actually put speak up for yourself, but y'all know my motto. Use your words. If it doesn't feel right to you, say it. I know we be worried about how people gonna think, what they gonna think, why they gonna think. At this point, again, you survived a global fucking pandemic. I'm not telling you to be rude or disrespectful because again, I don't tolerate that at any point. But speak up for yourself. If shit don't feel right to you, shit don't feel right to me. Say it. Whoever you lose probably wasn't meant to be there anyways. Um, Number 4, elevate your self-esteem. Elevate it. When I looked down in my stomach and I saw all them staples and looking like Frankenstein, I was so sad. You heard what I said. I looked like Frankenstein. I was so sad. And then when they took them all out, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. 2 tops and yoga shorts all summer. Don't even go outside. Number 5. Now all the other ones I gave you were good, but number 5 is check for unhealthy patterns. Check for unhealthy patterns. Patterns that you just grew up doing because everybody else did them, patterns that you were taught, you know, patterns that you just picked up somewhere or you do because you got hurt before and now you're trying to. I'm going to tell you this, right? I'm going to tell you something I realized a long time ago. Long time ago. You can't keep yourself from being hurt. No matter how hard you try, you're still going to get hurt. You can't keep yourself from crying because no matter how hard you try, you're going to cry. You can't bottle up your emotions because whether you believe it or not, they're going to come out one way or the other. As someone who has experienced all of those things, I'm telling you, just let it go. Let it go. Talk about it, scream about it, write a song about it, write a poem about it, start a YouTube about it. Get it out of you. That's the most important thing. Check for unhealthy patterns. And then, this is not on my list, but this is something I just thought of. Do what makes you happy. In case you haven't heard, you have survived a global fucking pandemic and all kind of other ailments. If you are able to sit in your own house, if you went to the grocery store, if you went to the church, if your kids have come to and fro from school, you have a lot to be grateful for. If you are someone who feel like it is no longer your option to be here, I want to let you know that you are loved. I want to let you know that you can talk about it. Talk about it and get help. Seek help. You survived for a reason. There is a purpose that you are still here. You might not see it. You might. I was talking to artists, and a lot of the gripe that artists have is like my own people don't support me and all of this. And I was just like, for decades, we already know like our own people won't support us. And I'm not just talking about like Black people. I'm talking about, like your families that people gonna want discounts. They gonna want, we already know that. So you can't, I'm not telling you can't get upset, but I'm saying you can't get upset at that because that's something you already know. But I want to challenge you to Change that. Change the outlook of where you have a business that your family think they're supposed to get discounts. Change it. Give them an incentive for paying for it or something. Change. Change is inevitable. That's another thing. Hold on, let me write that down. That's gonna be my number 7. Change is inevitable. I think I just want to say that word again. But whether you change voluntarily or life throws some fucking curved balls at you and you have to change involuntarily, change is going to happen. If you don't believe me, look back to 2 years ago. Changed. A lot of change happened out of your control. Nothing you could do about it. All you had to do was wake up and roll with the punches. It's 2022. The 6th month of 2022, one of the greatest months to ever grace a calendar. That's only not only because it's my birthday month, but because, it's summertime. But 6 months. If you look back to January, you haven't done any of the shit that you said you were going to do. Now is the perfect time to do that. If you don't do it for anyone else, do it for yourself. Take the time and say, you know what? I survived COVID. At any time, anything could have happened to me. Let me do something about it. When I was down, I was like, if something would have happened to me, who would have looked after artists? Who would have made sure they got their money for what they do? Y'all see how they be? If y'all know, like I know, they be running games on artists all the time. Artists be throwing their money and not even realizing them people aren't doing anything for them. I, on the other hand, I care. I want to make sure that you put music out there, you getting monies, even if it's like pennies and nickels to start with. And the more you do, you're gonna see more of it. I'm sorry, y'all. Now I'm just like legacy. That's what I've been thinking about. Like I'm 41. Never thought I would see 41. Never thought I would see 15, 17. None of those ages. But I'm 41. I'm going into 42. And I could look back at my life. I've accomplished some amazing things. Amazing. And now I just want to be happy. What makes me happy? Talking to y'all. Turtle ice cream. Authentic Mexican tacos. Lamb chops. When you start realizing what you really like, the things that you really want to do, the things that you love, you be happy. You don't have to find that in someone else because I'm telling you, you'll be disappointed all the time. There may be some good days or bad days, but hey, go to therapy. Even if you don't do nothing but go for the first. Um, no, I think you should give it a try. I'm gonna say go for the first month. No, give it a try. I'm gonna say give it a try because if you've done things, this is what I want to say. If right now you're sitting there, if you've been doing the same thing, if you've been thinking the same way, if you have been walking the same path your entire life, shake that shit up. You survived a global fucking pandemic. Do something different. You've already overcome so much stuff now. What's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen? You could like the fact that you're changing. You could ask yourself, why the fuck do I talk to them? And then you start thinking about, wait a minute, why do I talk to you? Why am I at this job? That's why I said, Trish. I said, no, because also, everything you thought about therapy, throw it out your mind. I know you're probably thinking like if you grew up in church, they was telling you like don't go because they're gonna put stuff in your mind. Throw that out your mind. Throw it out. You have to be open minded. Given the fact that you survived a global fucking pandemic where we was all locked down for like a year and some change, and some of us are still inside, throw that out. Throw it out. Go to therapy. If you are a parent, go to therapy. Don't just go by yourself. Take your kids too. Take the whole family. Do a group sessions. I'm not sponsored by any therapist or anything like that. I just want us to change the way we think and the way we act and the way we move and the things we say, the things we do. Because I feel like a lot of us operate out of fear, hurt, disappointment. Like we operate out of like, oh, the last person I was with did this, or the last job I was at didn't value me. Like we gotta, everything starts right here. Everything starts right here. That's all I got, y'all. Um, I hope that you got, some tips or some things that could help you on your journey of healing. Again, I'm going to say if you decide to take one, trust the process, enjoy the journey, enjoy it. I know you're going to be like, man, I didn't expect to be crying. I didn't expect all of this. Enjoy it, because the only thing it is going to do, it is going to free you from everything that is keeping you from being the greatest makeup artist or being the greatest songwriter, singer, doctor, lawyer, whatever you plan to do when you were younger. When I was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? You was like, I'm gonna be an astronaut, and now you're looking like, ain't no way. I be high, but I don't be astronaut. Is going to rid all of those things from your space and teach you how to operate with those things so that you could be great. We all should be great. We all should be great. Remember, it is important for you to use your words. Um, it is also important for you to love yourself, know yourself, trust yourself, and for the love of humanity, just be yourself. Just be you. Don't care what anybody else think, because people are quick to push off their fears on you. Don't even do it. Again, it's Pride Month. Happy Pride to everyone that celebrates. If you don't celebrate, if you don't even know what it is, look it up. I probably do a video. I should do a video. Somebody should do a video. I'm gonna do a video about it. Happy Pride Month. Um, that's all I got. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. I hope that you come back next Sunday. As we have another conversation about life and shit that we don't want to talk about. This is a safe space. You could talk about anything. You see, I talked about pretty much everything. Most importantly, is understanding the journey of healing. People say time heals all wounds. I believe eventually it would be healed to the point where it's not a constant like I believe that one day. Thank you so very much, Trish. I really appreciate you for rocking with me from the beginning. From the beginning, I appreciate it. That's all I got. I love y'all. Until next time, be safe. Have a beautiful evening. Peace.